Welcome to the Horse Talk Show.
You never heard of a talking horse?
With your host, Louisa Barton.
I want to be a famous rider. I should like to race.
Presented by Peterson and Smith Equine Hospital.
Truth is, I help horses with people problems.
Now here's the Brit on the bit, Louisa Barton. Yeah, baby.
Welcome to the Horse Talk Show, presented by Peterson and Smith Equine Hospital in Complete Care. Thank you to Larson Farms, our broadcast sponsor, Idaho's finest alfalfa. Louisa Barton in the studio. I have a special guest. Actually, I have two special guests. One is a guest co-host, filling in for Jodie Everton. That's Joe Alberti from Chestnuthill Arabians and the Ocala Stirrups program. Joe, thank you for filling in.
Absolutely.
I feel a little out-championed at the moment.
Oh, please.
I don't have any medals or any of these here. And then I have Madison Rafacz here, who is a top reigning champion in her sport and does some ranch horse and some other things as well. And she's amazing and incredible. Madison, thank you for being with us again.
Thank you for having me.
We've got a couple of segments with Madison. We're going to hear a little bit more about her. But to start with, I've got to make a few announcements. First of all, the Arabian Equine 101 last week was off
Yes, it was
the
great.
charts at Chestnuthill Arabians. Of the week for you. And I'm going to ask both Joe and Madison. And actually, I'll start with Madison ladies first. Throw her straight under the bus here with the piranha question of the week, which is, if your horse is at school and you get a call from the school principal and your horse is in trouble, what did he do?
Oh.
Did he eat someone else's lunch?
Definitely sounds like something he would do.
I know he'll eat anything. I read
yes.
that.
Either that or he'd I don't know. get into something.
He got into something he shouldn't have been in, for sure, right?
He was doing something he wasn't supposed to be doing.
Joe.
So if my horse...
Yes, was at school.
Okay.
And the principal just called you and said, Mr. Alberti, and it was that stern voice, and you were like...
He probably tried to run somebody over going back into his stall. He's really bad about that. He's 23 years old, and he's still bad about that. So that would probably be it.
He was like, I gotta go home.
Yep, it's like, okay, I'm in.
I'm in.
So yeah.
So mine would probably have nibbled somebody on the rear end.
I'm bum.
Not a mean bite, but more of a like, hey, I'm here. Can you touch me?
Can you pay attention to me?
Can you touch me? Oh, she's ticklish. I shouldn't make her snort. It's not a good idea. Oh, here we go. We might be in for the snorting competition. Thank you to Piranha. That was a good one. I really like that one. So tell us. You can comment below or you can message us and let us know. If your horse was in trouble with the school principal, what would he have done? It's a very, very good question, isn't it?
It is.
I think we're all thinking now, like, what could possibly have happened? So lots of great things coming up here. Of course, we're heading back into big season. Not that we had a real drop-off this season too much, but especially not, you guys have been on the run.
Yeah, we've been on the road,
non-stop. But we've got a great lineup. We've got Dr. Cayot coming up from Peterson and Smith Equine Hospital in Complete Care. He's going to talk about corneal ulcers. Certainly a time of year that we have to be extra concerned, because I know most of us got fly masks on our horses in the field right now, but even then they can manage to get dirt rubbed into an eye and all sorts of things can happen. So something that we're going to chat to him about, and then he has something else to share with us that he just learned last night, and so we're going to ask him about that too.
Okay.
Then we're going to have a couple of segments with Madison. We're going to talk a lot about how she accomplished all of this, which is very exciting. We're going to talk about her horses and how she got started in riding, and learn a little bit about reining, and what a great and fun sport that is. And then we're going to switch it up to Joe, and we're actually going to learn about the Arabian breed. I think Madison's going to stay with us. She can fire away with some questions. We're going to learn a lot about them. Last week when I was at the Arabian Equine 101 that the CEP put on at Joe's farm, I was hearing him speaking, and it's the second time, and when you hear the second time, you pick up things you missed the first time. And I was listening to him talking about the Arabian breed and everything you can do with them and how versatile they are and what an amazing breed they are. And it really made me go, you know what? Joe's going to be in the studio. I really should get him to do this again, because it's very informative and they are absolutely wonderful, incredible horses. So we're going to share a lot with you about what Chestnuthill Arabians is doing here in this community in Ocala, what they're doing with their Ocala Stirrups program, and just watching Tom DeSillo from Piranha's little granddaughter.
Oh, yes.
Was absolutely brilliant last week, and just seeing them, the way that the Arabians are so energetic and got so much impulsion, and then at the same time can be in your lap, which reminds me a lot of Sunny, my horse, of course, who passed away this year. Very, very, very much like that. Very full of energy, full of life, ready to go, even at 35. Wanted to be in the lead, but if you wanted to sit down in your chair in the field with him, he'd come and
He was happy to cuddle.
and you know, and when you'd ridden him for a little while, he got, you know, he was still really fast, even up to like his very last ride, but he always had that sweetness where he could you could totally diffuse that whole
Right.
you know, that whole energetic and get comfortable with him. So that kind of reminded me also, that made me think, gosh, I really, really want an Arabian.
Well, we can make that happen.
I know you can. That's what worries me.
We can make that happen.
That's what worries me. Having just been around them and interacted with them, and they're so friendly across the stalls to people when they come.
They are. They really like the human connection.
They do, and they like to chitter-chatter. Have you
Yeah.
been in Arabian, Barn?
I have not.
Okay.
Well,
so
you're welcome anytime.
there you go. You got an invite.
Yes.
But they're really interesting. They chatter and they put their heads over, and they're very inquisitive and very interested in what's going on. And
Yes.
yeah, so amazing barn to visit. So you know, I'm encouraging interaction of breeds
Absolutely.
and disciplines
Yes.
like all the time, because I think how cool is that? You know.
Especially that we're all in Ocala.
I know,
Yeah.
it's true, and lots of events coming up for you in the next few months too. So you're going to be super busy as well. So isn't it great?
Yes,
Teenagers that are
absolutely.
like,
Yes, that are loving this and into it, and really, it's absolutely fantastic. I think it's great for young kids. I think horses are great for the soul, for the young and old. But I think from a young person's standpoint, they really teach you how to
that's so
how to.
There's nothing like having a director off set that goes like this, and Joe goes, what? That's funny.
So anyway,
The 1 minute sign, which means we're down to like 30 seconds, and due to Tom Schmidt, we won't be running late, we'll be running early, so we're going to go to break. We're going to run our wonderful Horse Farms Forever video, our partner. We love partnering with them, and when we come back, we'll have Dr. Adam Cayot, Corneal Ulcers, and ferrets. Stay with us on the Horse Talk Show.
This show is brought to you in part by Dac Vitamins and Minerals of Florida. All horses need a solid immune system, excellent joint support, a healthy gut, and Dac has all the vitamins and minerals they need with the NASC stamp of approval. So like them on Facebook now, or go to feeddac.com. Dac, it makes a world of difference.
With over 70 years of collective experience in the horse industry, Lip Chip was built with integrity by horsemen for horsemen. Introducing the Chip Link system, powered by Lip Chip, where a 15-digit unique ID becomes a key to unlock not only identity, but also health paperwork, owner information, and even photos of each horse. So simple, even a child can do it. The future is here. The future is Lip Chip.
Enhance your horse's performance, fitness, strength, and rehabilitation with state-of-the-art equipment. ETI treadmills offer the finest European engineering, the highest quality filtration, and no chemicals are required. Follow Equine Therapy International on social media or at equinetherapyint.com. Equine Therapy International provides technologically advanced therapy for horses worldwide.
Hi, this is Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith. We're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Back on the second segment of the Horse Talk Show, presented by Peterson and Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care. Thank you to Larson Farms, our broadcast sponsor, Idaho's finest alfalfa. In the studio with me, I have a couple of champions. I have Madison Rafacz here from the world of reining and ranch horse. And I have Joe Alberti from Chestnuthill Arabians and Ocala Stirrups, which of course is the world of Championship Arabians. So I've got champions either side of me and a champion on the phone.
Absolutely.
The champion vet, Dr. Adam Cayot. Welcome to the show. It's lovely to have you back with us. So Dr. Cayot, before we get onto this topic of corneal ulcers, you text me today that you learned something new last night. And I've got to first of all ask you what, and then how? Are you now treating ferrets?
So we're laying there, and this is like before we're getting ready for bed, and Danielle's like, she's going through her phone, you know, and she says, I don't remember what the meme was, but the gist of the meme was that female ferrets, if they do not mate, will die like this painful, awful death. And there's no way that this is true. Like, this is not true, right? So I, of course, go to Google because, you know, I'm a vet. I should know these things.
Dr. Google.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Well, vets look up for Dr. Google, and so I like Google, you know, female ferret die, blah blah blah, and sure enough, wouldn't you know it? If intact female ferrets do not mate, their bone marrow stops producing red cells, and they become anemic and very painful, and it's this awful death. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, how terrible is that?
I didn't know.
They didn't teach you that in vet school.
They did not teach me this in vet school. No, I did not. So, moral of the story: have your ferrets spayed, please.
Yes. Well, all I can say is, and perhaps because I have a teenager in here, I should perhaps block her ears, but all I should say, I think, on this topic is it's a good thing I'm not a ferret.
Oh, geez. I'm not even going to touch that.
Yeah,
not even going to touch that.
So, switching it up to corneal ulcers, poor Madison's mom is like, oh, no.
Not for that reason.
Let's talk about corneal ulcers, and at this time of year, I know I've got my horses rolling around itchy in the dirt, and they like the mister. They like to get under the mister, and then they like to roll around in the dirt. And of course, we've got fly masks on them, but not always foolproof. You're probably at this time of year seeing quite a bit of itchy eyes turning into corneal ulcers.
Turn into corneal ulcers, right? Yes. I mean, just the way the horse is designed, right? They're designed with these big golf ball-sized eyeballs on both sides of their heads. They stick out from their heads. They're very prominent, so they're able to see whatever's going to come eat them, you know. And And so just their placing and how big they are predisposes them to being injured. And certainly this time of year, in the summer, late summer, when there's all kinds of bugs and everything and irritants in the air, we definitely see a lot of them. Corneal ulcers are nothing to mess with, nothing to take lightly in horses, because they can really go bad quickly. So if you ever see your horse, a corneal ulcer, for those that don't know, is just basically an abrasion to the cornea that gets seeded with either bacteria or a fungal material that then starts to ulcerate the cornea, and it can become very painful. Certainly, if not dealt with reasonably quickly, can lead to the worst cases, loss of the eye or loss of vision in the eye. So
that's not fairly common, though, is it? You don't.
That's not common. No. Most of the time, we're able to treat them and get on to them because it is obviously it's noticeable for the owner as well. Typically your horse is going to show some pain signs, meaning they're going to be holding the eye closed, like, oh my gosh, that hurts. Like if you were to get a finger in the eye, or you scratch your own. If you've ever scratched your own cornea, it's really, really painful and it hurts. And so they act that way as well. So, most owners are very aware of that, and hey, something's going on. But if you see that, don't just brush it to the side and think, it'll get better tomorrow, because a lot of times they don't. So the sooner they can get looked at, it's not necessarily an emergency, kind of deal, but certainly within 24 hours,
sooner the better,
get your doctor out there to look at those and evaluate what you got going on. Your success rate's going to be a lot higher.
And best thing to do, first of all, probably some warm water and wash the eye out and get it cleaned up as best you can, because that's relatively
you can wash the eye out, absolutely.
Harmless,
if you have any non-steroidals like Banamine or even Butte, Banamine works the best for those things. But if you have that in your first aid kit in the barn or in the tack room, that would be one of the first things to go to. And a lot of people will have eye ointments. Any of the triple or any of the antibiotic eye ointments are good as long as they don't contain a steroid. And you can certainly start applying that until your veterinarian's able to get a look at and evaluate what's going on. There are other things that can cause the horse to hold their eye closed. Uveitis means just an inflammation in the eye. You might not necessarily have a corneal ulcer, but none of those things, if you put the triple antibiotic or any of the antibiotics in the eye, are going to cause a problem if there is not an ulcer. So that's something that you can do in the meantime till your veterinarian's able to assess the situation.
And then,
I was just going to say, but putting anything with a steroid in the eye when they've got an ulcer is like really bad, correct?
Yeah, that's contraindicated, Joe. That's right. You would not want to do that, because that the steroid actually inhibits the healing process. So you want to make sure what you're putting in does not have a steroid in it, especially if they're holding their eye closed. And just make sure that that's correct.
Yeah.
And then usually, if you catch it fairly early, is there a time period, about a 10-day period or so, for them to start seeing some improvement? Or?
Most of them will resolve within 2 weeks. Certainly, the younger horses, they can resolve in a few days or even in 24 hours. Like if you have a foal or something like that, it's amazing. Likewise, on the other end of the spectrum, the older horses can take weeks, honestly. So weeks, 3 months, 3 weeks to a month. I've had some that have lasted longer than that, and we've had to actually do some minor surgical procedures to get them to heal up. But generally, the younger horses, your middle-aged horses, 2 weeks max. But the older ones, if they're getting into their 20s, can take a lot longer. But
and
it can be a problem.
Most of the medications are several times a day, aren't they, for eye treatment?
That's
3 or 4 times.
That's right. Yeah. Generally, we say a minimum of 4 times a day with the ointments. If you end up having to put a catheter in and do some of the solutions, those can be very management intensive, and you end up having to basically dose stuff throughout the 24-hour cycle of the day. So you're even going into the night and overnight dosing some of those medications. So that sort of thing we'd like to stay away from, because a lot of people are not set up to handle that situation, and they are very management intensive. So
right. So absolutely catching it the sooner the better is really important. And one of the things, we've just got 1 minute left, but one of the things I was going to say is, false sense of security like a fly mask can get you into trouble. Make sure you are regularly checking under your fly mask, checking your horse's eyes. Don't be like, oh, I got a fly mask, no problem, and then you've got a blind horse.
That's absolutely right. Yeah, you got to lift up there and look underneath those things, because they can, fly masks are great for the flies, but down here with the sand, they can get sand caked in there and that sort of thing. And you can't really just see the eyes as you look at their horse with the fly mask on. So make sure you take that thing off and look at what's going on underneath there.
We got to wrap it up, Dr. Cayot. Thank you so much for being with us again. Always very informative, and I learned something new today about ferrets.
Yeah.
We all did.
Exactly.
Thank you. We'll be talking to you again real soon. Thank you. You too. We'll be right back in just a few minutes with Madison and Joe, and we're going to talk a bit about reining. Stay with us on the Horse Talk Show. Thank you to our presenting sponsor, Peterson and Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care, and Larson Hay, our broadcast and television sponsor, plus supporting sponsors, Dac Vitamins and Minerals, Seminole Feed Stores, Piranha, TT Distributors, and the Hilton Garden Inn, downtown Louisville.
This show is brought to you in part by Seminole Feed Stores, family owned since 1934. Manufacturing fixed formula horse feeds with mindful monitoring and quality ingredients right here in Ocala in an all-natural, non-medicated feed mill. Seminole Feed, simply the world's best and safest feed. Like them on Facebook now or find them at SeminoleFeed.com.
Horses. Piranha! Oh no! Oh, the humanity! Oh, piranha.
Hi, this is Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith. You're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Back on the Horse Talk Show, presented by Peterson and Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care. Thank you to Larson Farms, our broadcast sponsor, Idaho's finest alfalfa. I'm Louisa Barton. In the studio of special guest this week, Madison Rafacz from the world of reining. She is definitely qualifies as a champion. Yes. And our champ, Rocco, a.k.a. Joe Alberti. I haven't let him live that down since he told me that was his middle name. So, yeah, I love it. Chestnuthill Arabians and Ocala Stirrups, a program that is working towards really getting the public and the community involved in horses, understanding and learning about Arabians, open houses, lessons, boarding, training, you name it. They do it all, and we're absolutely thrilled. They're in this community, part of the chamber here where we have our equine studios, and Joe and Jody, who's normally in here co-hosting, do an absolutely phenomenal job, and we love them. So we're going to switch it up to Madison, and we're going to let Madison tell us how she started riding. I know you've got a great story. You've got a family who are riding champs, your mom and dad. Your mom's here with you tonight, Shannon, and you guys have been on the show before, and it's been a while, and we just want to catch up a bit. But for the people who maybe didn't see you on before, and Joe, who doesn't know your story, how long have you been riding for?
So I've been riding for pretty much my whole life. My dad has been in horses for basically his whole life too, and when he moved to Florida, and my mom's been riding since
she was born.
I don't know. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much the whole family's just always been in horses, so
you've been very fortunate to grow up with them.
Yes.
And
it was almost like I didn't have a choice, but it's okay.
It was okay.
I'm okay with it.
I know,
but if it wasn't your love, you wouldn't still be with it.
Yeah,
that's true. You're right. Because when you're coming up,
you get to a certain age, and it's either in your blood or it's not.
Yeah,
that's so true. That you're right. Yeah, and obviously you love it. It's what you live for to do, right? And so you started out riding. Did you start out reining at what age?
I honestly don't know how old I was the first time I showed on my own, but
Mom, about how old was she? Five.
So So yeah, I was 5, and then I guess I went through like this phase where like I really wanted to do English. Like it was like I was so
Really?
and I still actually like enjoy doing it.
What
but,
did
like,
Mum and Dad think about that? Not sure. We're okay
I mean,
with
they
it?
were okay with it. I mean, I
It's
did
good
it for
to
a
know
little bit.
both.
So like hunt seat?
Yeah.
So when you say English, you mean like riding as in a hunt seat?
Well, I was like obsessed with like jumping. Like,
Okay.
I just wanted
You just wanted to go over stuff.
Okay.
Yes, I just wanted to go over things. So, I kind of like quit doing that. Last year I showed in an English class at the AQHA Youth World, but I haven't done anything like English since. But
you tried it.
Pretty much stuck with the reining and just newly started doing the ranch riding stuff for about 2 years now. So.
The ranch riding stuff is fun as well.
And huge. It's come into our industry and it's huge. I have some clients that do some quarter horse ranch stuff as well, and they love it.
Yeah,
they really love it.
It is really fun.
So tell us a little bit about your horses. And we had a little fun with the name before the show, right?
Don't ask me to say it again.
No, come on, Joe.
No.
What's the horse's name? Come on.
You say it.
Come on, you can do it.
Wizen Boone's Mall.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So what does that come from?
Wizen Boone's Mall. So his dad's name is Pepto-Lieb, and his Pepto-Lieb, and his dad's dad, so his uncle.
His grandfather.
Oh.
Yeah.
His dad's dad would be his grandfather. His paternal grandfather. Yep.
I mean, we're gonna pretend I didn't say that. Is Pepto Boone's Pepto Boone's mom, and his mom's name is She Was a Star. So
She Was a Star.
She was
Okay.
a star.
So you kind of.
So it's all put
It's like
together.
kind of Wizen Boone's Mall.
Kind of put them all
I
together.
guess that's how that went. I didn't name him. But everyone's favorite name for him is his nickname, which is Peter the Great.
Peter the Great.
Peter the Great.
I love
he
that.
He came to me with that nickname, and he's lived up to it.
How old is he?
Peter the Great.
He's 9.
And how old was he when you got him?
5.
Okay.
So you've been riding him for a few years.
Yes. In October, I'll have him for 4 years.
So of all these trophies, and obviously there's a lot more of these at home, I'm sure, but which one of these kind of means the most to you and why? Is that hard to say?
Okay, I don't think...
It's a pretty great accomplishment here, right?
Okay. I don't know, I feel like it's kind of like everyone's dream to win the Golden Globe. I don't know, that one meant a lot to me.
Yeah.
And this one I just won like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, wow.
And where did you win this one?
So, at the NSBA World, so National Snafflebit Association.
And where was that?
Tulsa, Oklahoma. So this one, I don't know, they all mean a lot.
They all mean
And where did you
a lot,
where did you win this one?
Have, the AQHA.
Hey, that's 2020 then. That's
Oh, okay.
the
So that was
Yeah,
last year.
so
Okay.
these were, I think, I don't know which one this is.
You've got to be like in the most winningest, right? Teenagers in the reining world.
I don't know. Honestly, I really haven't.
I know it's hard to say that about
No
yourself,
idea,
right?
Yeah. So this is for a ranch trail, so it's like trail stuff. You know,
Mhm.
kind of like
Obstacles.
You won 3.
She won 3 of these.
3?
I won in the ranch trail, ranch riding, and the ranch rail. So.
Really?
Yes, and then that's also ranch riding.
And the
Okay.
ranch riding is new for you.
Yes, I did it for like the first time in 2019. I think at Youth World. And I was tied for 3rd, and the tiebreaker judge had me 4th. And my trainer for the ranch riding, Bud Lyon, was like, if you could just practice this much more before this show, I bet you could win. So last year I went to his house for a couple weeks before the World Show, and he was right.
Okay.
So what kind of things do you do in the ranch riding? Funny story, my 35-year-old horse who passed away this year was actually my trail horse all his life. He wasn't supposed to be a show horse. I didn't buy him to show, but I showed him in one gated pleasure show, and he came 3rd in the gated pleasure class. He probably would have done a bit better, but he was excited, never done anything like that before. And then out of 79 people who rode in the ranch class all day, like it was open all day, and a judge was, they swapped judges, but they had judges in the booth all day, and you just came and did it. He won it.
Oh,
out
wow.
of 79 horses that were at this fairground show.
Wow.
And I was
That's
like,
fantastic, yeah.
When they were like number 75, and my mum was with me, and she's like, Lou, and I was like, am I really number
Is that
75? What?
Yeah,
I
that's
guess
great.
we won, Sonny, and
Right,
it was
right.
the only first ribbon that Sonny won in his whole life, but and he wasn't supposed to be a show horse, but it was fun, and I loved that ranch class.
That was, so kind of going along with what you were saying, when I did the ranch rail at the NSBA World, you go obviously around the rail and then you go in the middle and you back up and they judge you. So then we were all standing on the wall and they only placed the top 10 and I couldn't tell you how many of us there were in there, but they got down to the top 3 and I was like getting nervous, and then they got down to like reserve and it wasn't me, and I was like, there was a really nice lady sitting next to me and she was like, you've got this, and I was like,
oh, that can be the kiss of death sometimes, yeah.
I was like shaking, and then they said my number. I was crying. I
Oh,
cried.
really?
Yes, that was the third class that I won, and then there was one more class after that, and he was done, and I was like,
That's great.
How awesome!
Yeah.
So you do a variety of different ranch maneuvers in this class. I don't know if it's similar to what I did at the. Oh, hold that thought. Sorry, that flew by. We only have a minute left, so I don't get into trouble. We're going to go to commercial breaks. Better to be early than late, apparently, according to Tom Schmidt. So we'll come back in a minute, and Madison can answer that question. I've got some more questions for her as well, and probably Joe does as well. So stay with us on the Horse Talk Show, and we'll be right back. Equestrians, it's time to take care of yourself as well as you do your horse. So get down to Pulse Center of Ocala. The PEMF wave is safe, and it's a therapy that charges your cells and allows them to function at their fullest capacity, so you heal much faster. Check them out at pulsecenterfl.com now and tell them you heard about it on the Horse Talk Show for a free demo. World-class equine rehab promoting faster recovery is available at the Equine Performance Center Ocala. Hyperbaric oxygen therapy, an underwater treadmill, a saltwater spa, an aquapacer, MagnaWave, a vibration plate, swimming pool, massage and laser therapies. With post-surgical care, memberships, packages and BOGOs, EPC delivers a rejuvenated horse through proven and innovative rehab. Like Equine Performance Center now on Facebook and find them on the web at epcrehab.com. The Larson family has been farming hay in Idaho for generations with a mission to always provide high-quality hay products at a fair and reasonable price. Larson Hay loves to meet new customers while always honoring the ones they already have. Find Larson Hay on the web at larsonhay.com, like them on Facebook, and definitely visit one of their locations. Larson Hay, Idaho's finest alfalfa, and our television broadcast sponsor.
Welcome back to the Horse Talk Show.
You never heard of a talking horse? Well, listen to this.
With your host, Louisa Barton.
What does it feel like to be in love with a horse?
Presented by Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience.
Back in the saddle again.
Now, here's your pretty Louisa Barton.
You're fab, you're switched on, you're a bit of all right, yes. Yeah, baby, yeah.
Back on the second half of the Horse Talk Show, presented by Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience. Thank you to Larson Farms, our TV broadcast sponsor, Idaho's finest alfalfa. I'm Louisa Barton. Got champions in the studio this week. Got Champion Reiner and ranch horse rider here, Madison Rafacz. Also got Joe Alberti co-hosting, filling in for Jody Everton this week. We love having him here from Chestnuthill Arabians and the Ocala Stirrups program. Lovely to have you guys both with us.
Thank you.
Madison, I was asking you a little bit about ranch horse riding for our listeners, kind of just to learn what the difference is. Obviously, most people know what reining is. It's very well-known sport, and you're a champion. And we're going to talk a little bit about the three you've crossed over. I might have Mom here to help me out in a second so I don't forget one of them. But tell us just a little bit about some of the things you do in ranch riding.
So in the ranch riding, you have a pattern set, and you normally just different transitions like walk, and then you trot, and then extend the trot, and then you'll have to like come back either down to a trot, or you lope and then extended lope or canter, and like extend that and then come back down, and then normally there's like a spin in there, and you have to go over logs and stuff. So.
Yeah. Okay, so when I did it, you had to jog in, pick up a raincoat off a barrel, lope from one barrel down 3 more barrels, and put the raincoat on the last barrel. Then you had to go to the mailbox. You had to open it, take the mail out, put the mail back in, close it, put the flag up. Then someone walked up to you with a rope with a big long pole on the end of it, and you had to drag it in a big circle. Then you had to ride over a wooden bridge, a little steep bridge. Then you had to take a rope and rope the fake bull horns, which I missed. That wasn't Sunny's fault, which is why I thought there was no way we won. And then what else did we have to do? There were several other things. Then you had to jump off, load your horse in the horse trailer, back your horse back out, get back on, and gallop out. Wow. That was quite a competition. Open and close a gate. You had to go through a gate and not let go of the gate. Yes. You had to open it and close it. Wouldn't that be fun to do in Arabians?
And we do. I mean, they do trail, not with the getting in and out of a trailer, but our trail courses are super difficult.
Yeah. So this is like extending the trot.
Oh yes.
And then,
very nice. Beautiful.
It's like his.
Yeah, he's good. And he really overtracks because they really want to see them overtrack.
It is the thing that everyone talks about is his expression, and there's most of the time he has his ears up. So he just has like a really good expression.
He's really adorable. So speaking of him, Champion Peter the Great, love saying that. What a great name. Your mum was just mentioning in the break that he's a champion in the help me mum
AQHA,
NSBA.
Well, okay, wait.
Yes. AQHA,
NRHA, and NSBA.
That's it. All those letters, and that's unusual, right? There's not so many. Fairly rare.
I think it's pretty rare. Yeah.
Pretty rare. Is he one of the only few, Shannon?
I can't imagine that we have a lot that cross over like that because NSBA doesn't have reining currently. So it takes kind of a special individual to cross all those genres. So it would be interesting to see.
Yes. Pretty amazing.
He's kind of a little bit like a rugged lark. A lot of people have rugged lark, especially here in this area.
Yeah.
He's kind of like that. He can do a little bit of everything.
He's like a super horse. Yes. He can do so much. So what about top of your bucket list, Madison, for what you... obviously, crossing over all 3 of those is like a bucket list accomplishment right there. Yeah. Amazing to see him in action, right? Look at him, makes it look so easy. And he's just got a great personality, doesn't he?
Yes. Yeah. He is quite the person.
He looks like he likes his job and likes to show.
He does, and he likes her a lot. Top of the bucket list. Have you got one?
I'd say I want to, so we know the World Equestrian Center. There's the championship show coming up, and they're having raining there. There hasn't been raining in Ocala in a long time, so I'm hoping to do well there. They have a freestyle 2 nights.
Okay.
Everyone loves to see the freestyle.
Yes.
So go watch that.
Absolutely, because they just built a whole bunch of new barns for it.
Yes. Yeah. So it's going to be fun to watch. So I'm hoping to do well
the freestyle is very cool. You have to do something really cool. One year at the U.S. Nationals, we had a guy who took his reins and put them on as handlebars. And came in with sunglasses and a fake cigarette and flucked the cigarette at the judges.
No!
Oh, yeah.
So Randy Paul,
so it was very cool.
Yeah, how cool is that? So you're going to go to the Congress?
Yes, we're going to the All-American Quarter Horse Congress and then come home for like 2 days. And then we go to WEC. But
at least WEC is close.
Yeah, it's nice, like right down the road. So.
Yep.
That's going to be a busy time.
So will that be the first reining anything at WEC, right? Because they just built all of those barns and those arenas for the footing so that the reiners can slide and all that.
They just built the new arena for that and like the barrel racing. We're doing barrel racing there too and stuff like that. So.
Well, that'll be exciting.
And do you know how long it's been since reining's been here? Long time.
I'm going to say almost 10 years.
10 years. Really?
Well, you're 14 and your first reining was here when you were 5, so...
Yeah. So 10 years, wow.
Wow. That's great.
It's time for it to come back to the horse capital, isn't it?
Yes, for sure.
And it's such a great, exciting sport to watch and so fun.
Yes,
so you kind of like to win at WEC, huh?
It'd be nice to.
Absolutely.
Look at her.
Yeah. Oh my
That
God. That's
just
hysterical.
priceless.
The horse still stands in our front pasture.
Are you serious?
His name
How
is
old?
Red.
Red.
Oh, you want to know a funny story? So
I love funny stories.
No, it's not really funny. It's kind of like heartwarming.
Aw.
Actually. So he has this thing when you go to get off of him, he'll nicker every time.
Oh.
And when I tried Peter, who looks a lot like him actually, they look very similar. When I tried him and was trying to see if I wanted to buy him or not, when I got off of him, he nickered, and I was like,
You were like, oh, sold.
Oh.
Done. Yeah.
That was it.
That's
so
done.
Isn't that
Oh, that's
funny?
very cool.
yes.
That you knew. That's how you knew it was the one.
Yeah.
That was it, right? So how old is the other one, Red?
He's 23, 24.
Oh my
now,
goodness.
something like that. And then that was my horse. That is Mac.
Mac?
He's 20 now. He's 20.
Oh.
He was my horse after Red, and then came Peter. There's
And
like
where
2 or
did
3 horses in between.
Where did Peter come from? Was he local?
So Peter came from Canada.
Oh, okay. A.
Hey. Yeah. Hey.
Yes. So he came from Canada. So
So did you
I
guys
don't know-
fly
I
there
don't
to
know
try
how much-
him?
I don't know. No. She actually met us at the All-American Quarter Horse Congress.
Oh, okay. So you tried him there. Perfect.
Yes. I don't know how much time we have, but it's a funny story because she actually messaged my mom and was like, I think your daughter and this horse would get along really well.
Oh, wow.
And so we actually had nothing to do with it. She reached out to us. And
And
we
she was
passed
spot
on
on.
the first time, and I had a horse for about 6 months, and then we sold him. And my mom reached back out to her and was like, would he still be available? And then she met us at Congress, and the rest is...
Wow, that's
History.
fantastic.
And she was right on about how you two,
Yes.
you know,
Would
you
interact.
you can ride, you know, you can ride good horses and you can be a good rider and you can have a good ride. But when there's that perfect match and mesh, it gives me I get goose pimples because when there's that perfect mesh, this is what happens.
Absolutely.
You know, and clearly you two are, you know, are a
It was kind of
match.
funny because Mom and Dad tried him the night before, and they didn't love him. They weren't, like, in love with him, and I tried him the next night, and I was like, no, I really like him.
And he whinnied.
He was good for me. Yes.
Right.
That was just what sealed it.
Right.
That was
yeah.
it. And you know I see that happen a lot. We have just 1 minute left in this segment, but I see that happen a lot with horses that match somebody perfectly, but they don't match necessarily everybody. You know
Correct,
that. You've got
absolutely.
horses like that.
Yep.
That you're like, that's not acting like my horse at all,
Right,
you
right,
know?
yep.
But it's just the personalities don't mesh. So isn't it perfect when you find the right one? And this is amazing. You and Peter the Great are amazing. I hope
Yes,
you'll stay with us.
absolutely.
We have a few more segments left, a couple more segments left. We're going to talk to Joe, and Madison can interview him about Chestnuthill Arabians. Stay with us on the Horse Talk Show. We'll be right back. Thank you to our presenting sponsor, Palm Chevrolet, and our broadcast and television sponsor, Larson Hay, and also to our supporting sponsors, Equisafe, Nirvana Medical Spa, Showcase Properties of Central Florida, the Equine Performance and Innovative Center, and Summit Joint Performance. Nirvana, Ocala's premier medical spa, is leading the way in great skin with all the newest in treatment options, offering prejuvenation for younger clients and rejuvenation for all ages. Nirvana knows you want to look your very best, but we've all seen people with the telltale signs of too much work. We want you to look like you, just better, brighter and younger, with all the newest and best in technology and all in the most beautiful surroundings. Like Nirvana Medical Spa on Facebook and find them on the web at nirvanamedicalspa.com. Become a better, brighter and younger you.
This hour of the Horse Talk Show is presented by Palm Chevrolet in Ocala, where the entire team is committed to making your experience in sales and services hassle-free and easier than ever, with no games or gimmicks. Come in and visit on Southwest College Road or online at palmchevrolet.com. A second-to-none experience with all the amenities. Palm Chevy. Find new roads.
Hi, this is Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith. You're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Back on the Horse Talk Show, presented by Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience. Thank you to Larson Farms, our broadcast sponsor, Idaho's finest alfalfa. We're here at the CEP Studios in downtown Ocala, in the horse capital of the world. got a couple of champions here. Been chatting to Madison Rafacz and about Peter the Great and all of this. And we have Joe Alberti here. I call him Rocco. I haven't let him live it down. From Chestnuthill Arabians and the Ocala Stirrups program, where we were last week for the CEP ribbon cutting, which I thought was absolutely incredible, wonderful experience. Lots of people came out and got a chance to listen to the chattering Arabians in this wonderful, beautiful, spotlessly clean environment. It's cleaner than my house. Not saying that's like anything really, but there's Joe with his very large scissors. And a great photograph there, and we got to cut the ribbon there with, which horse did we have?
We had Pharaoh.
We had Pharaoh,
Yep.
yes. Pharaoh joined in the ribbon cutting, and I think he really enjoyed being part of that whole experience there at Chestnut Hills. But you really are actually, I want to say like it's the gift of the gab, or maybe it's just because you're so educated in the Arabian world and the horse world, you just know so much that you just give the most wonderful, down-to-earth history of the Arabians.
Thank
so
you.
let's start with that for our listeners and just kind of share how the Arabians, so look how much he liked the ribbon cutting. He really enjoyed
I think the biggest thing that people don't know about Arabian horses is that they are the only pure breed. So, you know, every other horse,
Don't
when you
tell
go...
Peter the Great.
Every other horse, when you go back in its pedigree, you'll eventually find an Arabian. If you go back in thoroughbreds, quarter horses, Morgans. So when you go back in an Arabian's pedigree, you will go all the way back to desert bred. So there's no other breed in there. So they're the only pure breed, and which is really why I think they're a big gift. And I think what also makes us very unique is that we also register our half Arabians. And so our half Arabians are registered. They have registration papers. They are worth just as much, if not more sometimes, than the purebred Arabians.
I think that's cool.
And you can take a half Arabian, and there's a 29-time national champion right there, Magnus Z, who's a half Arabian, and you could breed that half Arabian over and over and over again, but you will never get a purebred. It will never be a purebred. So to have a purebred Arabian, both sire and dam must be a purebred, and to be a registered half Arabian, one parent must be a purebred Arabian.
Okay.
You can have a half Arabian, half saddlebred, but you can have 3/4, 7/8, you know, and so on and so forth. And this horse that there's a picture up right now, that's Pharaoh CRF, who is a really unique horse, owned by Colby and Raul Hernandez of Marston. What makes this horse so unique is, first of all, he's one of the only horses in our breed that has been a national champion, a reserve national champion in main ring halter, in sport horse in hand, and in performance halter. There's nobody else that's done that yet.
Wow.
And for him to be
got
able
two people in
yeah,
here
exactly.
with come on.
Ocala's the place, man.
It is, isn't it? I'm surrounded. It's so amazing.
For that horse to come in the ring the way he did right before I got on him bareback and flip his tail and snort and blow and really be super charismatic, and then it wasn't even 2 minutes later I walked in on him, you know, bareback like this, just to really show everybody that they can really change right away. And it was so funny because when we brought him back to put the bridle on him, you know, his tail was still up, and some of my employees were like, "Are you sure you want to get on him?" And I was like, "He'll be fine." And you know, the minute I put that bridle in his mouth, he was like, "Oh, okay, it's time to be quiet now." And that's just
Time
what
to
makes
do my job.
exactly, and that's what makes these horses great. And unfortunately, when people see them acting like this horse is acting right now, this is exactly what we want them to do. We want their tails and heads up. We want them to snort and blow. We want them to be animated. So when people think that they are high-strung and all of these other things that they say about them, but this is what we want them to be, right? This is why we show these horses. And this tail carriage that you're seeing on the TV screen right now is all natural. There's been no enhancement. That is what Arabians do, because they have one less vertebrae in their back. So because they have shorter backs and one less vertebrae, when they move, their backs instantly tighten, which makes their tails go up. So it's not like a tail set or anything like that. That's just what they do naturally. And these horses know that this is what they're supposed to do, and they get excited for it. You know, they really enjoy it.
They do love it. You can tell.
They absolutely do, and they love doing this. And then, you know, like we did with the little girl, and then we sat her up on Pharaoh, and he was great for it. And we, you know, everybody got a chance to feed some carrots. And I think it's really important that people understand that they can be the family horse. They're the versatile breed. You know, they can do it. There we go. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, this is a 7-year-old Arabian stallion who has foals on the ground, who has been a halter horse. I mean,
with a little 3-year-old.
With a little girl sitting on him, who, you know, I mean, and he's just happy as a clam, and that is just what it's all about. These horses are really. She was so excited.
Trouble. You started a whole thing right there.
Absolutely.
And you know what? I'll tell you something. I went up to Joe. I interrupted him while the horse was out there in the ring, and I said, "Hey, Joe, could you come over here and let Isley have a little ride? Just for a minute. Can she just sit up there?" And Joe didn't even hesitate. He didn't go, "Ooh, He went, "Sure." And he said, "Hold on a minute, excuse me," to Ben, and came right over and went. And I'll tell you something that you almost made me cry. Was the way you got down to her level, eye to eye, had a conversation with her, told her what you were doing, let her know everything was okay. And I was like, this is one of the reasons that I love Joe.
Oh, thank you.
Because that was so sweet, the way you were with her and the way you interacted with her and got her to communicate with you. And she was shy.
She was shy, of course. And I had never met her, and I didn't want her to. This should be a great experience for everybody, and especially for young children. And so, they're big animals, they're intimidating and all of that. So I always think that the more we can put everybody at ease, and, even when people come to our farm for like a lesson type situation, we make sure that the lesson horses that we have are calm and quiet, and that they can, people can have a great experience on them, because nobody wants to do it if they're scared. I mean, there's no fun in it in that aspect. So we want to make sure that everybody feels safe. And I think if you feel safe, and once you've done it a couple of times, then you realize, oh, this isn't such a big deal. This is kind of fun. And I always say to the little ones when I put them up, I'm like, doesn't it look different from up here? Because they are really little. I mean, she's really tiny, and so when they get at such a different vantage point from being up there. To me, this is really what it's all about. And if we don't start encouraging new people to come into, whether it be Arabians or just horses in general, 20 years ago, there was so many more horses in mainstream TV, and going back even further than that, 30, 40 years ago with Flicka and, all the Black Stallion and all of those kinds of things. And today, everybody's like this on their phone. Right. And so I think it's also really great to get young people out there, off the couch. They get to get a little dirty, and I think they learn that there's a relationship with a horse and rider, as I'm sure you can attest to, right? Mm-hmm. People who are into other sports, they can go and dribble a basketball until their fingers bleed, and they can hit a baseball and till the cows come home. But you're dealing with another animal, and you have to be able to relate to them, and you have to understand that sometimes you're having a bad day, and maybe that's why they're having a bad day. Sometimes they're having a bad day as well. And so I really think it teaches kids a lot of just a give and take, and how to deal with a relationship, whether it be another friendship, relationship with the parents. And it's a huge responsibility, as you know, right? It takes up almost all of your time. Mm-hmm. So the parents...
We were just talking about that before you arrived, and Shannon was saying, we're it. We're it. We're like the mucking, feeding...
Right.
We're it.
But it also keeps, if you're really into it, it keeps you really busy. Mm-hmm. So it keeps you out of a lot of bad stuff. And when you can accomplish things like this, then you realize that hard work and dedication really do get you somewhere. Yeah. So I think that's a really important thing.
Joe knows what that means now.
Absolutely.
What happened? We got to take our last break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to wrap it up talking a little bit more about Chestnut Hills and their programs and kind of their plans, and then during the break, Madison's going to come up with like a really amazing question for Joe about the Arabian breed, and we'll put her right on the spot again. At least I'm giving her the break to think about it. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thank you to our presenting sponsor, Palm Chevrolet, and our broadcast and television sponsor, Larson Hay, and also to our supporting sponsors, EquiSafe, Nirvana Medical Spa, Showcase Properties of Central Florida, the Equine Performance and Innovative Center, and Summit Joint Performance. World-class equine rehab promoting faster recovery is available at the Equine Performance Center Ocala. Hyperbaric oxygen therapy, an underwater treadmill, a saltwater spa, an aquapacer, MagnaWave, a vibration plate, swimming pool, massage and laser therapies. With post-surgical care, memberships, packages and BOGOs, EPC delivers a rejuvenated horse through proven and innovative rehab. Like Equine Performance Center now on Facebook, and find them on the web at epcrehab.com.
This show was brought to you in part by TT Distributors, dedicated to bringing their customers the largest selection of quality horse supplements, products, and farrier supplies in Florida at affordable prices. Also online at ttdistributors.com. ArabiansHorseRacing.com.
Hi, this is Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith. You're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Back on the final segment of the Horse Talk Show. In the studio with me, I have Madison Rafacz. She is a champion reiner with her champion Peter the Great. And I've also got Joe Alberti with me, who's also a champion. Champion horses 29 times, one of them, right? At Chestnuthill Arabians and the Ocala Stirrups program. We've been talking a little bit about the Arabian breed, just kind of trying to educate our listeners. Really, there are a lot of misconceptions about the Arabians. And one of the things I commented on when I was at the Equine 101 was having years and years of being with a horse that was so full of himself and had to be in the lead. I always said he'd have won the Triple Crown if he'd have been a thoroughbred, because no one could ever get past him. High energy, but able to just be sweet like a big puppy dog in your lap. And the Arabian breed is a lot like that.
They are. They're very personable. You know, remember they were bred with the Bedouins, and they're a smaller statue because they were bred to be in the tents with the Bedouins. So they are very personable. They really do like human connection, which is also why, you know, at the farm we have 40 horses, no more. You know, I know every horse that's at that farm. I know its name, I know its birth date, I know its sire, I know its dam, I know its pedigree, I know what it eats. There's my old stallion sticking his tongue out. That Shadowfax.
Imagine Photography took that.
Yes, she did a great job. She really did a wonderful job.
Yeah, beautiful.
But so they really do thrive on human interaction, and so for me, it's really important at the farm that the people that work at the farm are there because they want to be there. It's not just a job. So these horses do get a lot of interaction and a lot of personal care. And, you know, again, this is a 15-year-old stallion. He's a two-time reserve national champion stallion. And he's just hanging out with these people who he's never met before. And, you know, again...
Layla, that's Layla.
Yeah, and, I mean, it's just fantastic that, you know, to show people that these Arabians are not what other people kind of have made them out to be. And those are two weanlings that we have that are getting ready for a horse show that's actually going to be at WEC in November. You know, so there are a lot of misconceptions, and what we're really trying to do is to teach people that these really are beautiful horses, but they also can be family horses, they can be pet horses, and they can be show horses. They can do a little bit of everything. They are the versatile breed, so they do everything from, you know, endurance to dressage to jumping to stock seat, saddle seat, hunt seat. And, you know, they do a little bit of everything.
Madison's got a question for you about
that. So talking about how versatile they are, like, what's your favorite thing to do with them?
So, my favorite thing to do with them is show them in hand. That really is my first passion. I think when I was younger, we started with quarter horses, and we had a Poco Pine bred horse, and we did some quarter horse shows. And, you know, the barn that we were at, the halter horses were always like, ooh, the halter horse. You know, they were just, it was like a big deal. And so that was really impressive to me. And I think because I've been riding horses since I was basically like two, so when I got into the Arabians, the first Arabian that I had was a long yearling. And so I couldn't really do anything with him other than show him and halter. And so it was something so different. You know, I felt like I had been riding forever. And of course, in my mind, you know, I was 12 and knew it all about riding. So that was just, you know, old hat. But the halter thing was so new and cool to me. And so I really, really loved that. And so I would think that's probably my biggest passion. My biggest drive is showing people in our breed, they feel that a lot of the halter horses cannot be riding horses. And so we have really proven that time and time again. Or matter of fact, that 29-time national champion is a 29-time national champion in halter. And at the Midsummer Nationals, he just won his very first national top 10 in sport horse show hack under saddle with Stephanie Simonson, my assistant. So he's been a multi-regional winning as a hunter as well, and as a side saddle horse. So it's really important to me that we show people that the Arabians who are great halter horses can also be really great riding horses. And we've really tried to do that time and time again at the farm. And Pharaoh himself, the horse that the little girl rode, is also a multi-regional champion and a Scottsdale top 10 in the hunt seat division. And is a great halter horse. So that would be my passion, I would say, about what I like to do with the Arabian horses.
And I see that a lot of, like, the AQHA shows, all the halter horses, I feel like they've been trying to get out there more, that they do ride them. So you'll see them, like, kind of out there, like, just kind of trotting them around.
Right.
They're
Like,
just
this
trying to
really
prove-
is a ride of a horse, right? Yeah.
I mean,
That's a great question, though, really.
The world champion halter horses, I feel like they like pony them a lot, you know, but
Right, and for me, I think it's really important just for them mentally. You know, not every great halter horse is going to be a great performance horse as far as from a show standpoint, just and vice versa. But it's a horse, and it really should be broke, and it really should be ridden. So, and just from a conditioning standpoint, you know, I mean, my God, how many years are you going to go around in a circle or just be ponied off another horse? So, teaching them how to, you know, getting them broke and being able to trail ride them and just ride them in general, it's so much better for their minds. And quite honestly, after they do a lot of performance, especially if they're showing in performance, when they come back to the halter thing, they're usually like, oh, this is so easy. This is so much easier than that. So I'm going to do this really good. And so that's what we really like about it. And you know, our breed has gotten a little specialized over the years, and so I think it's important that we keep reminding people that they are the versatile horse and they should be able to do more than one thing, especially at one horse show. Yeah. And so a couple years ago, I had a half Arabian gelding that I bred that's by my stallion that was national champion in the Hunt Seat Select Division, national champion in the half Arabian Open Halter and half Arabian Amateur Halter, all at the same horse show. So that's a really big part of it for me. And I just, you know, we're just trying to encourage people to get involved, like I said, specifically with Arabians, but just with horses. Ocala is such a great area. There's so much, it offers so much. And so I think that it's really important that we keep new blood coming into the horse industry. I
agree 100%. How do people find you, Joe? Chestnuthill Arabians on Facebook, Ocala Stirrups also.
Both of us are both on Facebook. ChestnutthillArabians.com is our website. And that's probably the easiest place you can find us. There's also the Ocala Stirrups has a page on our website as well. And Jody Everton also has a Facebook page. Joe Alberti, I also have a personal Facebook page. So we also always encourage, you know, when we first moved to the farm 6 years ago, I said, you know, the gate's always open. And so I think it's really important to people to know that, you know, make an appointment, stop by. We love visitors. We love showing people the Arabian horses, seeing the farm. You know, we're very proud of it. And so we love to have people stop by and see all of that.
Really important. Love that they have you can actually see up there, Chestnuthill Arabians. That's ChestnutthillArabians.com. I can't believe Gigi just said 1 minute. How can we be done? I just want to tell my champions so much. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Joe, for co-hosting. Please come back and co-host anytime.
Absolutely.
You could even come back with Jody.
Okay.
You know,
we may not get a word in edgewise, but we'll try it.
But we'll have fun doing it. And Madison, thank you so much for sharing your world. Congratulations to you on this and so many more trophies.
Such an accomplishment.
You and your family are a absolute joy to have here in Ocala, in the horse capital, as Chestnuthill Arabians also. These people are what make us who we are, for real. Yes. It's incredible. So thank you for joining us this week. Whether you're in Ocala, Marion County, Florida, the horse capital of the world or not, happy horsing around until the same time next week.